In the United States, the Americans have Judge Judy and other several judges who are deputized or authorized to handle small time cases or neighborhood disputes. But when it comes to high crimes or severe criminal cases, these are referred to higher courts. Okay, they are only allowed to handle small cases or neighborhood disputes. But here in the United States, we have what we call Justice Tulfo, okay, or Tulfo Justice. And this is in the case of Mr. Raffy Tulfo, who is known as the jury, the prosecutor, the judge, and the executioner. He's an all in one person. He can handle all types of cases from small neighborhood cases, lovers, quarrel or disputes, relationship matters, family matters, to corruption, to criminal cases like child abuse. And this is what I watched earlier today. Uh, Judge Rafi Tulfo, who's also the executioner, was able to pronounce verdict against a teacher, and this really caused outrage among teachers in the Philippines. So let me just look at this case. And by the way, I'm doing what I call screenshot vlogging, wherein I do live commentary using my cell phone, and of course, I do edit this after I'm done with the video or screenshots. So here we have Rafi Tulfo, who has 8 million Filipino or probably non-Filipino subscribers. He is the number four YouTuber in the Philippines when it comes to the number of subscribers. So recently, he had this episode between a parent, complaining parent, and a teacher, and Rafi Tulfa accused the teacher of committing child abuse, which is definitely a high crime. So if you're accused of child abuse, that means that you can have years in jail after being pronounced guilty of such crime. And here's the episode in question. Part 1, Mommy, pinatulfo ang pasaway na teacher ng kanyang anak. Right, so we have this grandmother complaining. Her name is Salve Banias. She's 47 years old, complaining against this teacher in question. And as you can see, it gathered or garnered more than 5 million views, or 5,123,292 and counting as of this moment. This is one of the top trending videos here in the Philippines. And if you're gonna check on the ratio, the ratio is definitely devastating against Rafi Tulfo. So Rafi Tulfo is one of the Tulfo brothers, and he's doing this Rafi Tulfo in action. A lot of people praise him, idolize him for his good deeds, but definitely in this case, he's being criticized by not just teachers from all over the Philippines, but also ordinary people like me. But in this case, I'm just gonna raise and share my 2 cents when it comes to this issue. And I didn't know we have a celebrity TV judge in the Philippines, and that's Rafi Tulfo. And here we're gonna start with the statistics because Rafi Tulfo seems to know his numbers. He knows that his subscribers or his followers are the ones giving him money, and I'm gonna talk about that after this because Rafi Tulfo, as said earlier, is the number four YouTuber in the Philippines in terms of subscribers. So he's got 5.1 million views in this video that was published just a few days ago on November 18th to be exact. And when it comes to the ratio, 21,000 likes against 321,000 dislikes. And that, like I said, is devastating to Tulfo. So we have all these comments here. As you can see, a lot of people argumenting, and Rafi Tulfo, according to him, in the part 2 video, decided not to close the comment section because people are not cursing him. He said.
Ma'am, hindi ko nabasa yung mga bashers, yung mga
Apo.
pinagsabi nila. Kasi pag meron po mga bashers, hindi ko po binabasa yan. Hindi ko po iniintindi. So, yung po mga staff ko, sila po ang mag-relay ng message sa akin, sinasabi na po ng situation. In fact, may mga staff ako nag-suggest kung pwede isarado rin comment. Sabi ko, no, no. Meron pang pagmumura doon. Sabi, sir, hindi ka naman minumura. So, kung hindi ako minumura, at nag-i-air lang sila ng mga grievance, sinasabi lang nila sa lobby nila, huwag natin i-block yung mga comments. Hayaan lang natin ang mga comments pumasok ng pumasok, sabi ko.
So when people are not cursing him, it's okay to open the comment section, and the comment section is definitely open. And I did, contribute my only one comment, my very first comment on any of Raffy Tulfo video on YouTube. And here we go. I just came here to see the dislike and the like ratio. And okay, the comments are really angry. They're really sympathetic to the teacher, Ms. Limhoko. But let's continue. So the mother here is Rosemel Edroso. She's 26 years old, and her request is to definitely make sure that this teacher is not gonna continue teaching, to get rid of her license. Okay, teaching license. So imagine that. That's definitely worse than being incarcerated in some cases, because you're gonna uh, you're not gonna be allowed to teach anymore. So that's your livelihood. So which is worse, getting incarcerated or having your license revoked? Okay, by Rafi Tulfo. So this is the accused, Melita Limhuko. She is 55 years old and teacher in Malate, Manila. So she said, according to this episode, that this is just her way of trying to discipline the kids. So let's discuss about facts, shall we? Okay. So the parents and the grandparent went to Rafi Tulfo after reporting the matter to the principal, okay, to the principal of the school. So I don't know what happened there. It's not really discussing here whether the principal pronounced verdict, but according to the complainant's, grandmother or mother, the grandmother of the kid, the principal asked her, "What do you want us to do? So what do you think we're gonna do with the teacher?" It appears that their only wish or demand is that the teacher be removed from her teaching position and be banned from teaching by having her teaching license be revoked by the PRC. And that seems a very, very severe penalty for the crime committed. And what was the crime committed? Here, the crime committed, according to the parents and Rafi Tulfo, is not just child abuse, but the teacher humiliated the kid, in front of his classmates. And that's one of the facts of the case. So, what did the kid do to have that kind of punishment from the teacher? According to the teacher, he repeatedly forget to bring with him the card. I don't know what that card is, but that's according to the teacher. He forgot the card, and that merited him that type of punishment. So the punishment given by the teacher William Huko against the child is that the child was forced out to stay outside. He was forced to stay outside for several hours. According to reports, I didn't actually get the exact number there, but according to report from Rappler, if I'm not mistaken, he was forced to stay outside throughout the duration of the class, which is um, not the case, I think, because that's not mentioned by the parents themselves in this hearing, the Tulfu hearing. And that's the basic facts of the case. And according to Lumuhuko, to defend herself, that's just her way of trying to discipline the kid, because prior to the kid being evicted or forced out of the class, there was an altercation between that kid and his classmate. So he had to force the child out for being a pasaway. So that's how the teacher defended herself. But during the conversation, all right, during the conversation or Tulfo hearing that was done over the phone, Tulfo seemed to have sided with the kids' parents and grandparent and even accused the teacher of committing or having been guilty of child abuse. Okay, child abuse. And to make the story short, Tulfo, who knew that um, filing an administrative case against a teacher would take a long, long time, would take a lengthy process to be decided by whoever is going to decide that matter, probably the dep ed or the government. And Raffy Tulfo was the one who gave an ultimatum to the teacher. Okay, so the ultimatum is quit your job or we're gonna file a criminal case or child abuse against you. All right, the teacher, having been a bit naive here, he knew that Tulfo is very influential. He has this de facto power to pronounce verdicts anytime he wanted. Okay, he had this. The teacher probably had this notion or some kind of preconception about Tulfo's de facto power, and she probably knew that Tulfo could do anything against her. All right, and she admitted guilt. She admitted that that's her way of trying to discipline the kid, you know, and she had to force the kid out of the class for probably several hours. Let's just say it's just for several hours, not throughout the duration of the class. So the teacher, being a family woman, she has kids, all right, she decided to go for the decision of the parents, which is mamahinga na lang. Okay, that's how they worded it. The parents worded it. Take some rest. Okay, I'm just gonna take some rest. That's her decision. The poor teacher. Okay, for committing or doing that kind of disciplinary action against the kid. Okay, and that teacher has been teaching for 29 years. Imagine that. Okay, in just one instant, your job is no more. Okay, you're gonna be forced out from your teaching position that you've had for 29 years. Okay, by simply trying to discipline a child. Imagine that. That's severe punishment for that kind of simple or petty crime committed. If that's a crime, I don't know. Tulfo called it child abuse. Probably it is child abuse. Why am I to say? Tulfo is the Chief Justice in the Philippines. Okay? And according to Tulfo, Rafi Tulfo's advocates or, followers or fanatics, okay, why criticize Tulfo when he has done so much for the Filipino people? I didn't know the only qualification to be Chief Justice in the Philippines is to do good things. All you need to do is to do good things in order to qualify for that position. But here, Tulfo is not just the Chief Justice. He's the jury, he's a prosecutor, he's a judge, and he's the executioner, an all-in-one position. And where is he getting all this power from? Probably from his uh, political clout. He's probably kingmaker now, having supported the incumbent president of this country, Mr. Rodrigo Duterte. All right, he knows a lot of people in public position or public office. He knows a lot of people in the military, in the police. All right, so he's got the power. He's got the clout. He can pronounce verdict against anyone at any time, especially against lowly people like Miss Lim Hoko. So let's just talk about that as well. because in his part 2, Tulfo admitted that, oh, the netizens, the people, my subscribers, have something to say. Okay, they have something rational to say, and he admitted that he was harsh in his verdict against Limhoko, or the teacher. And teachers all over the Philippines are actually outraged about this incident, the TV incident, wherein Tulfo is the jury, the prosecutor, the judge, and the executioner. But let's talk about that. Where is Raffy Tulfo getting all his power from? He's getting it from the people, right? He's getting it from the people and from the fact that he knows a lot of people from public office, from, you know, the levers of powers in the Philippines. He's definitely the kingmaker. Now, let's further consider some facts of the case here. Okay? The parents of the kid and the kid's grandparent went to the principal. Okay? They went to the principal. I don't know what happened there, but they seem to have been not content with the judgment, or whatever the decision of the principal, which is to do the right thing, probably. And he's gonna elevate. The principal is not has no power to do such a thing by himself. He must go through the process, probably to discipline or censure the teacher, and they're not really satisfied with that. And second, that's the first, the first thing that we need to consider. Second, the parents and the grandparent seem to have this only one idea in mind. Okay, to kick this teacher out of her teaching position. Pamahingain niya, okay? Let the teacher have some rest. That's their words. They think that that's the only way to punish, the teacher. That's the best punishment for the teacher. They already have that kind of notion that, we are victims of injustice. Our, kid is a victim here. So we can pronounce any type of verdict, and Tulfo can have that. That's the reason why they went to Tulfo. Now that's a third. They went to Raffy Tulfo, they pronounced their verdict. Raffy Tulfo agreed in that 13-minute video that the teacher deserved to be either, incarcerated or sent to jail, or the teacher should quit her teaching position that she's held for 29 years. Imagine that, 29 years. The reason why, because Tulfo agreed that the teacher is guilty of child abuse. That's his verdict. And he even threatened, that's going to be the number 4, the threat. Tulfo threatened, that teacher to make a choice. He gave his ultimatum.
Alam mo ma'am,
Opo.
doon po sa admin case,
Opo.
matagal-tagal yon. Hindi kami asa dyan. Dito sa mabilisang kaso, child abuse, dito ka namin yayariin. Pasensya na sa word, yayariin ka namin dito.
Kaya nga po humihingi po nga ako ng sorry. Para po
Balik rin natin yung sitwasyon. Akong gumawa nun sa apo mo, hingi lang akong sorry, papayag ka ba? Hindi makatarungan yung ginawa mo.
Opo.
Ang taas ang expectation ko sa apo ko, matalino yung bata yan, malayo pang mararating yan. Ikaw nagsabi matalino yung apo ko. May pangarap yung apo ko. Sa ginawa mo sa kanya, sa takot niya sa'yo, baka mamaya tama rin ang pumasok yung apo ko. Although sipag-sipag ng apo ko pumasok. May nararamdaman yan, pinapapasok namin yan. Dahil ayaw niyang umabsent. Tapos gaganyanin mo lang, ingi ka sa akin ng sorry. No, sorry.
Parang awa nyo na po. Ako na nga po humihingi ng sorry. Humihingi na po ako ng tawad. Please po.
Ma'am, narinig mo po yung salita. Kalimutan niyo na po yung napag-usapan niyo ng lola. Sorry lola ha.
Okay lang, sir.
Respetuhin natin yung mga magulang. Sabi po ng both parents, tong tatay nanay nandito,
Opo.
hindi ka kakasuhan ng child abuse dahil ikaw na kusa mag-resign sa iyong trabaho at maging sa PRC, ilalakad namin at sasang-ayunan mo para mas mabilis yung proseso na ikaw ay matanggalan ng lisensya. Or, isang option, ilaban mo sa korte, masasampa ka ng kasong child abuse. Para sa akin po ma'am, kung ako tatanungin mo, malaking posibilidad na makukulong ka. Ano pong pipiliin mo doon ma'am?
Yun na lang pong decision ng father tsaka mother.
quit your job or you're gonna go to jail. The teacher chose the first. She decided to quit her job. I don't know where he's getting all this power from, like I said. So, after pronouncing that verdict, after the teacher, decided to quit her job, Tulfo said, "Okay, come to my office and let's gonna settle this thing. We're gonna sign papers, etc., etc." It's as if that's how easy, to uh, pronounce a verdict. It's that easy after like 13 minutes, or probably let's say after the cuts and edits, it's 1 hour, conversation. That's how easy to pronounce verdict, to ruin one's, profession, one's job that one has held for 29 years. All right, that's how easy it is under the Tulfo justice. I call it fast food justice, and that's got Tulfo in trouble this time. The fast food justice. So, what are things that we may be able to learn from this, issue? All parties learned their lesson. Okay, all parties, including Raffy Tulfo himself. In his part two, Rafi Tulfo admitted he committed mistake, and his followers and subscribers are right that the punishment he meted against this teacher is harsh.
Now, ngayon ma'am, babalik rin natin. Sila naman ang lumalapit sa akin, nagtatag sa akin, para sabihin yung naging desisyon ko para bigyan kayo ng hustisya, hindi ata na ayon doon sa ginawang kasalanan ng teacher. Okay, ma'am? So para sa akin, ma'am, I think win-win solution. Huwag na po natin patanggalan ng lisensya at huwag na po demanda. Kumbaga, bibigyan na po ng warning. So, okay ba sa iyo, ma'am, next week, request ko po kay teacher na pumunta sa TV5, pagbabatiin ko na lang kayo.
We have in our, Philippine justice system, in our law, cruel and unjust punishment, unusual, cruel, and unjust punishment. No one should be subject to unjust punishment. That the punishment that should be meted against and accused should be appropriate or should be logical to the crime committed. Okay, commensurate, as they say. Okay, if you committed the crime of jaywalking, you're not supposed to go to jail for that for 1 year. All right. We have criminals in the Philippines, criminals in high office, criminals in barong, in Congress, who stole millions and millions of money from public coffers. People who are guilty of plunder, okay, plunder, and they were able to escape justice and kept their wealth, ill-gotten wealth as well. And us, the teachers' supporters, say teachers have right as well. We have this Magna Carta for teachers in the Philippines, and these are as follows: Section 8 of that Magna Carta, safeguards and disciplinary procedure. All right, every teacher shall enjoy equitable safeguards at each stage of any disciplinary procedure and shall have the right to be informed in writing of the charges which was violated by Rafi Tulfo, the right to full access to the evidence in the case, all right, the right to defend himself, to be defended by a representative of his choice, by a lawyer, or by his organization, adequate time being given to the teacher for the preparation of his defense, and the right to appeal to clearly designated authorities. No publicity shall be given to any disciplinary action being taken against a teacher during the pendency of this case. So, did Rafi Tulfo commit, irregularities here or some kind of a crime? I don't know. But we don't have a Magna Carta for a teacher to be aware that we have the right to due process, that is a constitutional right of every citizen in this country. We have the right to due process. Due process may take some time, but that's how the framers of the constitution designed due process. Okay, it will take a long time to pronounce verdict against anyone. We have this saying, justice delayed, justice denied, but that's how due process was designed by the intellectuals we had in the past. So it was came from the Anglo-Saxon thinkers to the Americans to the framers of our Constitution who decided to adopt these universal principles in constitution making or framing. So we have the right to due process, and Tulfo just did due process in a couple of minutes, and he pronounced a verdict against that teacher after 13 minutes of deliberation over phone call. All right, but another thing is that Tulfo doesn't have subpoena power. We're gonna talk about this as well. Tulfo doesn't have subpoena power. He is not a deputized or authorized celebrity judge, authorized to do justice on TV. All right, we're gonna we're gonna keep that in mind. Okay, he's not a deputized judge by the DOJ. He doesn't have that power. It means that you can definitely ignore Raffy Tulfo's subpoena because he doesn't have subpoena power at all. His only power is to try to humiliate you online, to threaten you, to go to your employer. He's been trying to do that. I've seen some of his videos, and that's definitely his style. His style is he's gonna threaten you. I watched this episode in which this is like a lovers quarrel episode, a family matter issue in which he threatened the the family guy who left his wife, that if you're not gonna visit your wife, I'm gonna go to your employer and have you fired. Well, that's his style, definitely. But here, Tulfo might have committed some impropriety, just to be clear, because according to the lawyer who consulted with Lim Huko, Miss Lim Huko was not aware of her conversation with Tulfo and the complainants being televised or live on TV. Okay, so Tulfo has no subpoena power. He doesn't have the power given by the DOJ to disperse and adjudicate on any way possible on live TV. All right. So according to this lawyer, he is a teacher's advocate, attorney Joseph Noel Estrada. Miss Limahuko doesn't was not aware of the conversation with the host was live on TV. And I'm gonna quote this lawyer: "It is unfair for her, and this is violative of her right to due process, being subjected to public humiliation." And Tulfo, having all these millions of followers, like I said earlier, okay, let's base it on socialblade.com. He has 8 million followers, and he's the number 4 YouTuber in the Philippines. That's his rank, fourth, rank 4, okay? And he's getting like millions and millions of views per uploaded video, and thousands of followers each day. This is not gonna have any dent on his reputation, so-called reputation, or celebrity status. I don't think it's gonna affect whatever his clout among his subscribers and followers. But that's that's the case here. Tulfo is powerful. He thinks he's so powerful, and he can be subjected to legal, trouble as well. Only if teachers know what they're, doing or what their power is, they can band together and fight Tulfo. Okay, and that's stated in the Magna Carta of teachers. They can band together, association.
teachers associations of or union, and that's pronounced by the lawyer as well. That's a violation of her right. Under his table, and he he actually raised that ball and was about to strike the teacher. But you know, it's good thing that the teacher did not see him holding that bolo because of the teachers being so cruel. All right, and my grandfather's verdict is not as the same as Tulfo's harsh verdict because you know we were, yeah, on that old school punishment method. And I never said it to my grandparent at all. And what my grandparent did is that she simply gave that teacher an ultimatum that if you're going to do it again, okay, like censuring that teacher, if you're going to do it again, we're going to report this matter to higher authorities. And that, ended everything. The teacher became nice and everything. She's definitely a good teacher, disciplinarian teacher. And she was also the coach of the athletes. And the athletes were so good, especially those volleyball players and softball players. She was the coach for the softball team of that school, and they really are good at. They were good at what they do. They won competitions up to Palarong Pambansa, if I'm not mistaken. So we may not like that type of disciplinary action these days, especially that we are raising an era of snowflakes, safe place, safe space kids these days. You know, that's why I cannot relate That type of punishment by Tulfo is so harsh. And again, Tulfo doesn't have the authority to subpoena anyone. You can ignore him like he does not exist. All right, just in case you're on the receiving end of Tulfo's threat, you can ignore him. He doesn't have the power at all. Only those deputized or authorized by the DOJ can issue subpoena, and he doesn't have the right to threaten you at all. Threatening Tulfo, threatening this teacher should be against the law. All right.